I'm gonna walk you through pretty much the entire setup of how I record tracks with Dante Virtual Soundcard and our CL5 here. So on my Mac I use Adobe Audition because that's what my job has provided. I'd rather use Pro Tools, but I don't have a license for that at the moment. So Adobe Audition is what it is. I am using Dante Virtual Soundcard. You can see here I'm doing 64 by 64, which is currently the limit for it. And I'm plugged into a USB interface, which then goes to a portable drive. It's a hard drive, not even SSD, and also out to our router. The router goes into the CL5's Dante. You can see in Dante controller, I can see all the devices on the network. I also want to make sure that in my settings here that I have under the network that the Wi-Fi is turned off, and I'm only using this connection. I don't want the Wi-Fi on because it can sometimes cause interference, and then Virtual Soundcard will just freak out and stop working, and then all your tracks get messed up, or there's gaps in the times. Up next, Adobe Audition. The way I set up a track is here. If you can't see both these inputs, try scrolling up and down, and it will make the box larger and allow you to see more info. So track 1 here, I can go to input, see input, the arrow input, mono track, and then let's say I wanted to record RF red here. What I can do is I can click on a channel down here, select the one I want, so RF red, and then it's going to tell me I'm patched to Dante 29 right now. So on my Dante network, I try to keep everything 1-to-1. So I'm just going to go to input 29, and I'm going to rename my track here 29 space RF red, just so I can, if something happens, I can troubleshoot very fast and see what channel number everything is. But then in Dante controller, what I'm going to do is transmit from the stage box that's in, so that's stage box 1. So I'm going to transmit from that to my MacBook here. So it's already 1-to-1, but channel 29 is coming out of our stage box and into my Mac at channel 29. Cool, so there's that, and I should be able to hit record here, and it arms it for recording, and then if something was playing right now or singing into that mic, I could see it metering here. Alright, so I have the red microphone here, and as I talk into it, you can see it meters now on my channel strip. It's also metering on the board. One thing to keep in mind is that currently I have my Dante controller outputting the stage box input into my Mac. So this isn't going to have any EQ or compression, any effects, anything that I'm doing on the console won't happen here. Alright, so I recorded some tracks here. You can see there's a lot of them, people's mics, overheads, everything. I can do up to 64, but there's only 10 or so here. What I do now is I take the output and I want to send it back. I'm keeping everything 1-to-1 as best as I can, less confusing. I'm sending it back out the same channel essentially that I input it in, and then Dante controller. What I have to do is I go from transmitting from my MacBook to the CL5, which is our console, and then if I hit control and click this little icon, it goes 1-to-1. So now all the stage box inputs are disconnected, and now it's connected to my Mac, from my Mac to the console. Alright, so I switched show files on the console, and now I'm going to play back my tracks. And it's simple. I'm just going to bring these down for now. Bring all my inputs down. Just make sure everything's off so I can show you how this works. So I pull up my mains just like normal and pretend there's a choir on the stage right now. And I'm like, cool, choir. They're going to sing, right? So they're singing. Hit play on my Mac. And there's all their inputs. So I could pull up this person's mic, and I should be able to Oh, I have my DCAs down. And I should be able to hear them. There it is. Actually, it's not an individual person there. This is actually the whole choir. So I could go to things like, I have overhead mics here. Somewhere around here. Right there. Overhead. So I could pull these out. And I can see, oh, they weren't recording for some reason. Oh, that's weird. And I could like trace it down for like these mics. So having a problem here where 6 microphones aren't showing an input on the console. I'm going to go over my Mac, and here they are. It's my microphones. You can see right here, overhead left. Should be patched back out to 13, but it's not. So I can assign it to 13, and I can do 14, 14, 15 to 15. And so on. This one's 5. I can put it to 5. This one is 6. And then this one is 7. Right? So now if I play it, you can see my overheads are actually working. And it applies to all the microphones. Here's the boom ones that weren't working. And now they're actually metering. So I can go to each mic and I could be like, man, that one sounds like really low. And I can see, oh, well, maybe there's something wrong with the EQ, and I can pull things out and work on it without having a band on stage. So things where this is handy is like when there's a bunch of people on stage and they need to practice with their monitors, right? I don't want to be like trying to tune each channel one by one because they have a limited rehearsal time. So I can record them all and then go back and play each one separate. Yes, I can go back to each mic, and this is that person, even though they're not there. And I can like check their EQ, change it, or I can change it, and it changes. One thing that's sort of bad is you could really like mess with the EQ and then it's not live. So what happens, like you'll boost up the high end really high because it doesn't sound right or something, and then you go out on stage and everything starts feeding back. So you got to be careful in that aspect. As long as you're pretty safe and like don't go crazy extreme fixing everything, you should be pretty well. You can do your effects. So like I have my reverb here. Go through and turn them on each channel and sort all that out without having to waste time on the band members.